Hello, I'm Gail Marie from Six Dimensions of Healing, and today I'd like to talk about reflections in our life. Now, the reflections I'm talking about are not the things, not the natural reflections that we see in life, but rather they're the people who come into our life. We get reflections of all sorts of people that come into our life, and I'd like to clarify a little bit today what that means, because we do get people come into our lives who are those scoundrels that we don't like, and also people that we do like, the people that we would like to be like, and they're our role models. But also the reflections of everyday people who come into our lives. And what does that mean? Does that mean that I'm just like that? If somebody's rude to you when they come into your life, does that mean you're rude? Well, no, that's not quite what it means. But what you can get out of that is that you can refine. You can say to yourself, okay, there's an aspect of me I can see in that person there, and I'd like to refine myself a little bit better. I'd like to actually add a little bit more onto who I am, uncover a little bit more of my inner being, and become more of the person who I really want to be. So a reflection in your life helps you refine. How do they come to you? Well, many times a reflection will come for that reason, because they are a reflection. So you're feeling a particular way, and you may not be aware of that, or whether you are or not, it doesn't really matter, because that reflection is going to come anyway. Like attracts like. And so that person will come into our life, or a particular person will come into our life to actually show us how we're thinking and feeling in that moment, rather like a dream does. And that's when we can say, okay, do we want that? Do we like that? Are we okay with this person coming into our life? And if we are, then we can keep that in there. If this is a person who comes into our life who reflects back to us that we're feeling joyous, wonderful, harmonious, in alignment with ourselves, then we would keep that. But if it's a person who comes into our life who reflects the side of us that we don't like, then that's a time that we can say, well, maybe that's not something that I'd like. And reflections can come in all sorts of ways. They don't need to come face to face. They can also come by telephone. They can come by thought. You can think about people. They can be conversations that you have. They can also be conversations you have with clients. A friend of mine has clients that come in, and he gets wavered by different conversations. So rather than holding his space, and we'll teach you that in another episode, he actually gets wavered by the conversations that he has. And so we've decided together that maybe he can look at these as reflections. So not the whole conversation, but there are parts or aspects of that he can look at and say, okay, what part of this conversation can I change about me, or can I add to who I am? What part means that I just need to tweak so that I can feel good? Because that's what all conversations are about, and that's what reflections are about. You want to feel good about yourself. We all want to feel good about ourselves. The only time we ever do anything, want anything, strive for something is because we'll think we'll feel better when we have it. So when we get a reflection into our life, or when somebody comes into our life that rubs us the wrong way, we can look at that and say, okay, what is it about this person that I can use to move forward? So let's take an example. I'm thinking in my life. Somebody comes into my life and it makes me frown. I'm not happy at all about these people who have come into my life, and I may not know them very well, but we've crossed paths, and so I'm frowning, I'm beginning to talk about them, I'm complaining, and I can hear that. And what I'm hearing is a reflection. I'm reflecting what I've felt about those people. And it's never about them, it's always about me, or you, or whoever it is in this instance, but this time it's about me. So I can look at that in two ways. I can look at that and say, okay, this is their problem and they shouldn't be like that. Or I can look at that and say, okay, what do I need to change about me so that I actually don't get a reflection like that? Because the universe will always reflect back to you where you are. how you're feeling and what's happening in your life right now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, not 3 weeks ago. You have a direct reflection that comes into your life so that you can actually choose your path in life. It's your guidance system. You were born with this. People come into your lives just to bump you a little so that you can actually say, oh, okay, do I still want to stay in that direction and move around you, or would I want to go in another direction? It's not to change you, it's just to offer you an alternative way of thinking, an alternative way of doing something, an alternative way of being. And in this way, your guidance is there that you were born with, is actually guiding you along your path to a better and better feeling mood. Because when you feel great, you're aligned with your higher self, which is your source energy. And there's no better feeling than being aligned with your source energy. That's where the inspiration comes from. That's where joy is felt. That's where your love is. That's where you really would like to be most of the time, is in this space of alignment. So these people, whether you like them or not, are actually offering you an opportunity to move in the direction of your source and your higher self. So next time that we get somebody bump into us, somebody who can actually guide us in our direction, when we don't even think that they are, we have an opportunity then, rather than being agitated by it, to say, okay, let's move in a different direction, let's rethink this, let's just stop, put the brakes on and stop the car. Let's pull over to the side and say, okay, are we on the track that we want to go on? Or can we tweak this a little bit, take another turn, then start the car up and go along your journey again. So your journey, our journey, is all about just tweaking the direction. And these people who come into it are here to reflect the direction we're actually taking at this moment. So that when we tweak that direction, we can move in the direction of our higher selves, the one that we've chosen for ourselves, our best course in life, create our very best reality and have a wonderful time, because that's what we're here for. So I'm Gail Marie from 6 Dimensions of Healing, and you can find more about 6 Dimensions of Healing on our website, and we'll talk to you soon.